You know, I've made some videos about Zimbabweans with common sense. I've even shown them on my videos that these are the Zimbabweans that are able to think. They've realized that we can't be staying here in South Africa because South Africans need their country to themselves. They need to fix their issues. What we need to do is go back to our country and fix our issues. I've made some videos about those Zimbabweans. But lately it seems as if that movement that they were starting to adopt of saying no, we are going back home. Some of them were even making videos in Zimbabwe calling the Zimbabweans that are here in South Africa to come back home. And I was happy about that. And I said, it seems as if some Zimbabweans are starting to come back to their senses. They are no longer making videos attacking us as South Africans. They've started making videos calling their brothers and sisters to come back home. Even some Zimbabweans that are here in South Africa are out there making videos telling us that tomorrow I'm going back home, next week I'm going back home. And it was a movement that I appreciated. Why are we taking one step forward and two steps back, people? Zimbabweans, you need to continue with that movement you were starting to adopt of going back home and calling your brothers and sisters to go back home. That is what you need to do. But what you are doing right now, no, 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 no. Don't treat South Africans the way you don't want to be treated in your own country. Don't do things that your own country doesn't even tolerate. In Zimbabwe, if you go there illegally, they arrest you. They arrest you. And it's easy for them to spot you that you came to Zimbabwe illegally because there's not a lot of us crowding Zimbabwe. So if you go there illegally, most likely they are going to see you and you're going to be deported or arrested or even worse.
The government is waging war against illegal immigrants coming into the country, where over 200 Zimbabwean nationals were arrested at the Bay Bridge border post.
This as Home Affairs cracks down on illegal crossings between South Africa and the neighboring Zimbabwe. ENC's Mangoba Mchunu was there.
An operation hoping to clamp down on illegal immigrants at the country's busiest border. And it was not in vain.
Get in the bag. Fast.
These are just some of the undocumented immigrants who were caught by Home Affairs officials attempting to cross the border.
Since this morning, the SAPS, working with the Defence Force, they've been, including our immigration officials, they've been able to arrest, I think it's close to about 120 of the people that you saw this side of the bridge and also across the bridge. Most of them are undocumented.
And with more boots on the ground, there was no place to hide. Well, this is just one of the many porous parts of this border fence where hundreds of illegal immigrants enter the country illegally on a daily basis. And it's one of the areas that government says they will be focusing on this Easter weekend.
The message out there is that if you don't have any documentation, please don't even attempt to come closer to any port of entry, because the same operation is happening in Lebombo, the same operation is happening in Maseru, the same operation is happening at Oshuk, the same operation is happening throughout any other port of entry of our country. As I said, we've deployed about 634 immigration officials from our side, and they're working alongside the colleagues from the Defence Force.
It's really, really strange to see this kind of obsession that these people have for our beautiful country, South Africa. I truly believe that at this point, it's no longer a thing of looking for greener pastures here in South Africa or running away from the corruption in Zimbabwe. No, it's just borderline obsession. These people are obsessed with South Africa. They want to become South Africans. It's one of their dreams that, if I can find myself in South Africa, then everything is going to be fine in my life. Which is strange to me because people have the internet right now. You can see that if you go to South Africa illegally, most likely you won't have a good life in South Africa. Why? Because South Africans are chasing away your brothers and sisters, telling them to go back home because they are crowding us here in South Africa. Yet you think it's a good idea to go to the very same place where they are chasing your people. Does that thing even make sense? It doesn't. It's obsession. You can even see that your brothers and sisters haven't found any greener pastures that you are talking about here in South Africa. Some of them move from Zimbabwe, and then when they get here to South Africa, they live even worse lives. their livelihoods deteriorate instead of improving. There's no greener pastures that they found here in South Africa. You'll find people running away from Zimbabwe and then come to hijack nasty buildings here, living like animals. You find someone had a house back in Zimbabwe, even though maybe it was not a stable house, like a proper house. But then, if you look at where that person is living in here in South Africa, it's worse than that house of his that was in Zimbabwe. He didn't find greener pastures here in South Africa. Yet there's still some, even more than 200 illegal foreigners who have been found there, who still think coming to South Africa is a way for them to succeed in life or to have a better life. There's no greener pastures here in South Africa. There's barely greener pastures for us as South Africans. Yet you think you are going to find greener pastures for you coming from outside without any documents. That thing will never happen. That is why I'm saying it seems as if it is turning into an obsession. These people no longer want to use their minds. Because if you are going to think about this situation critically, you would come to the conclusion that going to South Africa is not your best choice currently. Yet it seems as if these people no longer want to use their minds. They just want to come here to South Africa, and then when they get here, they start disrespecting us, they start fighting against us, they start calling us names, calling us xenophobic, and all of that nonsense. As if we called them to come to South Africa. Hey, come to South Africa, come to South Africa. We didn't call anyone to South Africa. Instead, we are chasing people away from South Africa. So for you to actually think about this situation and then come to the conclusion that, I'm going to take all my kids and we are going to South Africa. Right now in 2025, when you see that we are busy trying to get rid of this thing of illegal immigration, you are just causing stress for yourself. You are just causing sleepless nights for yourself and your kids. Next thing, you will be crying on our streets, our South African streets, acting like a victim whenever they want to deport you and your children. You are going to be crying here, telling us a whole lot of things. When you had the opportunity to stay in your country and try to make your country work, like us as South Africans. I always say that us as South Africans, we have a lot of issues here in South Africa. Very, very serious issues. If I can start counting the issues that we have here in South Africa, the sun would set. But even though we have those issues, we make sure that we stay inside South Africa and we try and fight for those issues. Our government is corrupt, same as the government in Zimbabwe. There's no difference. It's just corrupt governments. There's no service delivery anywhere. It's the same situations. Crime. South Africa is not a paradise for every African. No. We are a country that is still developing, that has its own issues. And we are not equipped to be sheltering everyone. But even though we are a country that is still developing with its own issues, us as South Africans, we are willing to stay in South Africa and face all the challenges that we have. Try to fix those challenges. We don't think about going to other people's places and leave these people who are busy corrupting the nation to continue doing as they please without anyone speaking about that thing or anyone fighting against that. When you see us here on the internet always speaking about these government things and the nonsense that is happening here in South Africa, it's our way of fighting. When you see us on the streets busy protesting, it's our way of fighting. Why can't you do the same thing for your countries? Instead of making videos out there always bashing us as South Africans, speaking badly about us as South Africans, why can't you do what we do as South Africans and actually make videos speaking about your government? Because trust me, they see these videos. Make videos, attack Mnangagwa, speak about all of those things. Don't be cowards. Because Zimbabweans will tell you, no, in Zimbabwe there's no free speech. You can't be speaking about Mnangagwa the same way as South Africans speak about Ramaphosa on the internet. That is just cowardice behavior. It's cowardice behavior. You should be taking your time. Instead of making videos attacking us as South Africans, take your time and attack your president in Zimbabwe. Instead of taking your time and running away from Zimbabwe, jumping the borders, coming to South Africa, stay in Zimbabwe and try to fix your issues. It's as simple as that. We are not perfect as South Africans, but we are trying to stay in South Africa and fix our issues. Why can't you learn from us? Instead of being obsessed with our beautiful country, South Africa. The worst part, you don't even respect our country. Whenever you come to South Africa, you continue with your nasty behavior that you had back at home. You don't even respect South Africans. You are entitled. You are disrespectful. But you will never see us as South Africans in Zimbabwe busy disrespecting Zimbabweans. When we go to Zimbabwe, we make sure that we have documents. We go to Zimbabwe to visit, because I'm pretty sure there's some beautiful places in Zimbabwe. We go there to just visit tourist destinations, or we go there to work, maybe if someone has a work opportunity there. And if that person is going to work there, he's going to make sure that he follow all the proper protocols. He has all the necessary documents, all the permits. That's what we do as South Africans. Why can't you treat us the same way? It's not a problem coming to South Africa, but come to South Africa legally. If you want to work in South Africa, follow the right protocols. Have all the permits to work in South Africa. Don't treat us the way we don't treat you. And then when we start standing up for ourselves as South Africans, we become the bad guys. Yet people treat us the way they don't want to be treated. Stop being obsessed with South Africa. There's no greener pastures for illegal foreigners here in South Africa. There's no free services for illegal foreigners here in South Africa. Our hospitals are for South Africans. All our public services that are paid for by our tax money is for South Africans. Not people without documents, not criminals who are running around South Africa doing strange things here. So this obsession that Zimbabweans have with South Africa is really getting out of hand right now. It's getting out of hand. It seems as if they don't want to listen to us when we tell them that no, we no longer want you here in South Africa. You know, I've made some videos about Zimbabweans with common sense. I've even shown them on my videos that, you know, these are the Zimbabweans that are able to think. They've realized that, you know, we can't be staying here in South Africa because South Africans need their country to themselves. They need to fix their issues. What we need to do is go back to our country and fix our issues. I've made some videos about those Zimbabweans. But lately, it seems as if that movement that they were starting to adopt of saying, no, we are going back home. Some of them were even making videos in Zimbabwe, calling the Zimbabweans that are here in South Africa to come back home. And I was happy about that. And I said, you know, it seems as if some Zimbabweans are starting to come back to their senses. You know, they are no longer making videos attacking us as South Africans. They've started making videos calling their brothers and sisters to come back home. Even some Zimbabweans that are here in South Africa are out there making videos telling us that tomorrow I'm going back home, next week I'm going back home. And it was a movement that I appreciated. Why are we taking one step forward and two steps back, people? Zimbabweans, you need to continue with that movement you were starting to adopt of going back home and calling your brothers and sisters to go back home. That is what you need to do. But what you are doing right now, no. Don't treat South Africans the way you don't want to be treated in your own country. Don't do things that your own country doesn't even tolerate. In Zimbabwe, if you go there illegally, they arrest you. They arrest you. And it's easy for them to spot you that you came to Zimbabwe illegally because there's not a lot of us crowding Zimbabwe. So if you go there illegally, most likely they are going to see you. And you're going to be deported or arrested. Or even worse. So, don't treat South Africans the way you wouldn't want to be treated in your own country. That's just what I wanted to talk about in this episode of The Spotlight, the obsession that these Zimbabweans seem to be having for South Africa. So please tell me on the comment section down below, what do you think about this whole situation? But then if you just enjoyed this video or you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. My name is Emmanuel and this is Mzansi Versity, the place where we transform lives through knowledge and information. Let's meet again on another video.